virtual students. Section 13.1 still. We are continuing on. Okay, so let's review some things. This is for your notes. This is for your notes. Those of you virtually and those of you here in class. All right, so let's say that we're talking TOA. What does that mean, Crawfie? TOA. Darren, what's that mean? Tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So we are discussing the tangent ratio, and it is always the opposite over the adjacent. It is always the opposite over the adjacent. So this is just an abbreviated way to write the tangent ratio. So let's say we're dealing with this triangle that I've drawn up here, and I start with angle A. Okay, angle A. Off, which side's the opposite side?
Right. The bottom right.
Side. Which side's the opposite side? There's three sides in this triangle, Poff. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one down here. Which one's considered the opposite side as I look at angle A? The bottom one. He is correct. After some debate in his mind. Off. Which side's considered the adjacent side? Hypotenuse is never considered the adjacent side. The hypotenuse is only considered the hypotenuse. This is considered the adjacent. So it matters then which angle that we're dealing with. Let's use a different pen. Let's say that I'm dealing with angle B. Austin, which side's considered the opposite side to angle B?
The current adjacent side.
That's right. And then which side would be considered the adjacent side? Austin?
The current opposite side.
Very good. So it just depends on which angle that you're starting with. Then the opposite side is opposite and the adjacent side is next to it. We never declare the hypotenuse as either the opposite or the adjacent. It's neither. It's just the hypotenuse. Does that make sense? Okay, so one more note for consideration. Let's say that we've got this triangle, and we know that this is 53 degrees. Tiana, what's the measure of angle A? Don't grab your calculator. No! It is 37. Tiana, how'd you do that? Very well. Very good. We know that these two angles have to add up to be 90. Why, Sears? Why do we know that these two angles add up to be 90? Because in a triangle, we know that the sum of all three angles is 180. And since we know that this is already 90, because it's a right triangle, then these two have to add up to be 90. When that occurs, angle A, excuse me, angle A and angle B are considered what they are called, are considered complementary angles. Spell it right, Poffenbarger. It's not like compliment, like I like your sweatshirt. That's with an I. Okay? So spell it correctly. Complementary. All right. So complementary angles, the sum of two angles equals 90 degrees. That's what that means, complementary. Sum of two angles equals 90 degrees. What's it called when the sum of two angles equals 180? Anybody? Anybody? Supplementary. Sum of two angles is 180. Supplement. Complementary and supplementary. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else I want to... Oh, yes. One other thing I want to review. Gracie, you might be able to help me out with this. What button do we use when we are trying to find the measure of an angle? We're trying to find the measure of an angle. What button on our calculator do we use every time? You remember, Gracie? Well, tangent gives us the opposite over adjacent, but when we're trying to find the measure of an angle, there's a specific button that we have to use every time. Yeah, it's a second function, but it's got a certain name to it. Anybody remember? It is called the inverse. We're going to call it the inverse function. It looks like this. Tangent raised to the negative 1. Any time that we're trying to find the measure of an angle, we use that button. Got it? It's actually true for sine and cosine as well. We're just not there yet. We'll talk about that tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay? But for now, we're using the inverse. Remember, all calculators are a little different. All phone calculators are a little different. You got to get good at the sequence of buttons that we're pushing. Okay? All right. We had problems 2 through 11 on the homework. Let's take a look at a couple of those. The first one I want to take a look at is number 3. Okay? Which is on page 692. So if you don't have your book open there, you need to. Let's take a look at number 3. You've already done this. Let's just make sure we did it correctly. All right, so we've got a right triangle, which is really important since that's the whole study of trigonometry. And we have E, F, D. We've got 5.0. We've got 9.0. And then they give us the hypotenuse. I don't know why, but they do. They give us the hypotenuse. You know what? Let's just for the fun of it, let's make sure that the Pythagorean theorem works. Because anytime I have a right triangle, the Pythagorean theorem should work. So that means 5 squared plus 9 squared should equal 10.3 squared. Let's check it. Let's verify. Okay? So 25 plus 81, what is that? 106? 106, is that equal to, I found a calculator. Let's see. Clear. We'll go 10.3. There's my squared button. What do we get? 106? Yeah, 106.1. So they must have rounded, but... So yeah, Pythagorean, that does work. Okay, good. That's not what they're asking for, but that's just our own little extra practice. All right, now what do they want us to find? It says, find the tangent of each angle that is not the right angle. Yeah, you know what? They don't want us to find the tangent of the right angle because, look at this. Watch this on the calculator. Clear, clear, clear. Tangent of 90. It doesn't have an answer. There is no such thing. It's got to be a value less than 90 degrees. Okay? So don't fall into that trap of trying to find the tangent of the right angle. Doesn't work. All right, so now let's deal with F first. I'm going to put a circle around it. I want to find the tangent of F. So the tan of F is opposite over adjacent. Which side's considered the opposite of F? We'll go way across there. It's considered 9. And which side's considered the adjacent to F? That would be 5. It's never the 10.3. That's the hypotenuse. Off topic. Next Sunday is March Madness. Meaning, everyone in here gets to fill out a bracket. You can fill out a bracket. I don't care if you like how the name is spelled. I don't care how you fill out the bracket. Everyone's going to fill out a bracket. Okay? And then we post them on the back wall. The defending champion is Mr. Colton Monday. He won it 2 years ago. We didn't get to do it last year. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope you guys are too. You might want to start your research right now, Paul. Who do you think? I know. You better start researching right now. You can buy a subscription to all those insider people and ESPN that know what they're talking bracketologists. Okay, so tangent of F is equal to 9/5, but if we're trying to find the measure of an angle, I just said we've got to use the inverse function. Let's do that. So let's clear. Let's put so you can see this. Glare. Yuck. Okay. Inverse tangent. Need your calculator. You should be doing it with me so you know that you're doing it right. Inverse tangent. Now we put the fraction on there. 9 divided by 5. Second function. See where my pen is pointed? So I had to hit the second button first, Gracie. Okay. Inverse tangent. I hit equals. And we are looking at it at about 61 degrees. Okay, so if that's 61 degrees off, what's angle D? Off. If that's 61, what's this? Don't blame me because you're confused. If that's 90 degrees, these two add up to be 90 degrees, Pop. If that's 61, what is the other angle? Thank you. All right, so this one right there has to be 29 degrees. Angle D is 29 degrees. Let's confirm, though. We're going to go tangent of D is equal to 5 over 9. So I go inverse tangent of 5 over 9. That's what the math is that I'm working on. Clear from the calculator. Second tangent, 5 divided by 9, parentheses, boom, 29 degrees. Check. Shaylee, got it? You can do it on your phone and your calculator. Everyone good? Okay, good. Let's do another one. Turn the page over. Let's go to number 10 on the next page. Number 10. All right, Chaz, help me out. We're confusing POF, so we got to switch over here. All right, we got A, we got B, we got C, we got, is that 27 down there?
Yeah.
27, and then is this 8?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right, directions say, use the tangent to find the unknown side length. Okay, so in this case, it's AC. That's the unknown side length. All right, so we'll start with you, Chaz. What's the equation I need in order to find x? Good, you're going to learn something. Wes, help him out.
You add 90 and 27 and then subtract 28.
Okay, that gives me the measure of angle A. Now, that's very good, Wes, but that's not what they're asking
that's
for.
what you're asking.
I mean that's additional information, but that's not what they're asking for. Anybody else want to help out Chaz? Darren does. Okay, Darren. Darren? No? Rebecca knows. Let's ask Rebecca. Rebecca? Outstanding. Tangent of 27 is equal to x over 8. Remember, the tangent of a function is always the opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. And so the opposite side is x, the adjacent side is 8. Does it matter what the hypotenuse is? Nope, not yet. Not until we start talking sine and cosine. Then it does. Okay? All right, so now to solve this, let's come back to Chaz. Chaz, what would I do to solve for x? Don't use the calculator yet. Just talk to me about algebra. What would I do to solve for x? If I have this, Chaz, look at this. If I have 4 is equal to x over 8, what would I do to solve for x? You know how to undo a division? You multiply. So what would I multiply by? Gotta isolate the variable x. So how do I isolate the variable? Multiply by 8. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So see, the 8's would cancel, and I'd just have an x left over equal to 32. So that's not this problem, but it's very similar. Just because it says tangent of 27, don't get freaked out. That's just a number. Tangent 27 is just a number. So we still solve for x just like we would in a normal algebraic equation. So that means I'm going to multiply by 8. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. Shaylee, does that make sense? Okay. So then I have x is equal to 8 times the tangent of 27. Let's put that into the wonderful calculator. Clear, clear, clear. Doesn't matter which one we do first. No, but I like doing the function first. Tangent of 27, that's going to give us a decimal. And then we multiply that by 8. Looks like we get 4.08 if we round to the nearest hundredth for our value of x. Questions? Lowry, you got it? Remember how to use your calculator now? We just did a few more using it, getting you back into the swing of things with the calculator. All right, let's add to this assignment. So this now you'll submit from Friday's Canvas, okay? So it's not on today's Canvas, but Friday's Canvas you'll submit it. But it's the entire assignment. So we'll go page 692. It was 2 through 11, right? We're going to go 12 through 21. So that's the entire assignment 2 through 21. All due tomorrow. Okay, signing off. Any questions, virtual students, send me an email.